Giants' turn to try and answer, and here's Saquon Barkley, and he is off to the races. The 30, the 20, Saquon for 6. Deep to right field. Oh, baby. Put it on the scoreboard. The kid has done it again. Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, testing 1 2 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2. Welcome on another episode of the Lewis Sports Network. This time doing something that I haven't done in a long time, and that's doing a live stream of today's afternoon game between the Clippers and the Mavericks. Salute to everybody that is in the chat. Make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media. We have to talk about this game because what a thrilling game it was, man. Salute to the LSN mod squad and to the entire chat. Salute to you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Let me take a look real quick before I get started. All right, let's go through. Shout out to the first one in the building. Salute to my man, Brandon Nicholson. Appreciate you. Make sure to hit the like as you guys come in. Shout out to Jermaine Grantham. Appreciate you coming through. He also says, I bet Kawhi wishes he stayed in Toronto now. Wouldn't he? I was just thinking that. Brandon says this game wasn't even supposed to go to overtime. Shout out to Karam. He says, yo. Let me see. He also says, let me just, sorry. Luka isn't human. No. He's the future of the league. Oh, that's facts. Absolutely. Shout out to Yosis. Yosis, appreciate you coming through as well. Take care. Hi, what's up? Hope everything is good with you. I hope you can say more than hi, though, but I've heard a couple of words from you, but it hasn't always been much. Again, guys, like the video as you guys come in. Yo. The Clippers lose this game in overtime, 135-133. I'm doing great, Yosas. How are you, man? Hope everything is good with you. So the Clippers lose this game in overtime, 135-133. Luka Doncic is showing you that the man is not human, bro. Not human. I could see the Mavericks beating the Clippers. It's possible. Shout out to Ron in the building. What's up? G-Money says Luka hit a cold-blooded dagger on the Clippers and the Mavericks, overcame a 21-point deficit without KP, and the series is tied. Yeah, no, I put it in my community post, G-Money. So everybody saw the game. But salute to you anyway. All right, Yosef, that's good, man. I'm glad that you're doing well. Okay, oh no. This game already finished, man. It already finished. Shout out to Synovial Foot. How come PG-13 didn't want to guard Luka on the last possession? Again, shout out to Synovial Foot. Appreciate you coming through. That's a very good question. Yo, shout out to one of my best bros, man, for life, man. Rio Martinez, my man Mario. Appreciate you. He says, great game, but I definitely see the Clippers learning from their mistakes and winning game 5. George Paul needs to wake. Yeah, George Paul, thank you, needs to wake up. Exactly, bro. Nothing but George Paul. Shout out to Gabriel Espinal. Appreciate you being here. He says that was an intense game. Absolutely. It was an intense game. Synovio says if the Clips lose this series, Doc Rivers could get fired. You think so? Well, we got to talk about this game. Mike Breen with the bang bang call on the broadcast. Oh man, that was an epic call. That was an epic call. Again, guys, make sure to like the video as you guys come in, share on your social media. This is crazy. Like I commented earlier, Luka is trending towards being that guy. Yeah, I saw your community post, Ron. It's true. Yo, guys, how about this, though? Shout out to Luka Doncic because what he did on a bad ankle, mind you, where the defense was going to be slowly focused on him. How about the fact that Luka had 43 points, 17 rebounds, and 13 assists? This is when he injured his ankle in game 3 in the third quarter. On top of that, Kristaps Porzingis was out for game 4 with a sore knee. And the Clippers lose this game in overtime. You're saying to yourself, if you're a Clippers fan, well, all you have to do is key in on Luka Doncic and make sure to stay home on the shooters. Well, the Clippers allowed 135 points. So terrible defense. That's number one. And then more importantly, what you don't like is it's Oh, okay. What's good, Dennis? I didn't know that was you. Okay. All right, man. All right. I thought you was new, but all right, cool, man. Shout out to my man Dennis. Another real one, man. Shout out to you, Dennis. Hardaway, Curry, and Burke were aggressive, but as a matter of fact, they played well too. I know Luka had 43 and he had the triple double, so he had to do everything. But Seth Curry gave you 15 points off the bench. He shot 6 of 7 from the field, so Curry continues his efficiency. He's shooting incredible. He is shooting incredible. Like it's crazy. Boban even gave you 10 and 7 in 16 minutes. Trey Burke gave you 25 in the starting lineup, and I think the Mavericks, they went 9 deep. So what's crazy is the Mavs bench only scored, 25, 28. They scored 31 points. On most nights, that's solid. It's not like crazy, but it's good enough. And that was with Finney Smith only giving you 8, and also Tim Hardaway Jr. giving you 21 points. But for the Clippers, other than Kawhi Leonard and Lou Williams, no other player cracked 20 points. Zubac and Reggie Jackson were the only other players that cracked double digits. The Mavericks had 5 guys in double figures while the Clippers had 4. And this is with the Clippers going 10 deep. If the Clippers lose this series, Paul George will never hear the end of it. Oh, yeah. You already know. Shout out to Patriots Nation Sports Talk. What a game. Luka Doncic at 43. Facts. The rest were trying to give the Clippers a game with some questionable calls. They can't do it, man. They could try. Luka has a heart of a lion, and he was very aggressive. And Luka did it all without Porzingis. PG-13 looks terrible. I really don't care who wins the chip, but the Clippers were my pick to take the Lakers out. But since the bubble, I'm not even really sure. Shout out to Ryan. Well, Clippers are done, man. Mavs are going to the second. Well, you can't say that, bro. It's 2-2. It may look like they're done, but they still got an opportunity to win Game 5. If they don't win Game 5, then I think the Clippers might be done. The Clippers have to treat Game 5, the next 2 games, like it's Game 7. If they don't do that, they're going to go home. And I'm pretty sure LeBron fans, Laker fans, especially the media that hates the Clippers, they're going to love this. They're going to love it. They're going to love it. Lou Will was the reason the Clips were in the game and was great, but he did miss that late free throw that would have won the game in regulation. Oh, I agree with that, G-Money. That's true. I was talking about that with my brother. Had he made that free throw, the Clippers would be up 3-1 right now. Boban was huge today. But the thing is also, though, you could say that, but at the same time, the Clippers should have never put themselves in that position. I'm going to get to Luka in a second, man. Clippers next year, I guess. I mean, you can't just quit, really. You got to see the whole series, man. Shout out to Omar. Appreciate you. He says Lua was the reason the Clippers were in the game and was giving them buckets off the bench. Also, my thing with Paul George is, hold on. G Money says if the Clips lose this series, this will be worse than the Thunder losing to the Jazz in 2018. I wouldn't say so, G Money, just because of the fact that the Mavs, they're a more potent offense than the Jazz are. Even though the Jazz they are a good 3-point shooting team. But the thing is, you're comparing a 2018 Jazz team to a 2020 Mavericks team that's one of the best scorers, one of the best scoring teams in the league. So that's kind of not such a great comparison to make. But what would be worse than that would be, G Money, is if Paul George plays badly in the last 2 games. And let's say in an elimination game, Paul George, let's say he scores 6 points like he did in Game 6 against the Jazz in 2018. That would be worse because he's on a better team in the Clippers than he was with the Thunder back in 2017, 2018. That would be worse. Against a team that once again is missing Kristaps Porzingis and with a sore knee and Luka Doncic injuring his ankle. Now, let me switch the thumbnail. Here's the reason why. Do y'all remember this? This was back in Game 3, right? Let me just go back into the comment section. Literally. But Lou missed the late free throw. He did. Again, shout out to Patriot Nation Sports Talk. Shout out to my man Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. He just came out with a video on this. I didn't get to see all of it, but I will check it again. Again, salute to Mahari. The guy's putting up great content. Make sure you guys tune in, and always, man, check out his historical perspectives. He sheds great insight on that. And then on top of that, his basketball conversations. Usually he's doing it on Fridays, depending on his schedule. But for the most part, he's always doing it on Fridays. I'm telling you, go check his channel out. I'm telling you, you're missing out if you don't check out Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Check that brother out. I urge you guys, go subscribe to Mahari. That game winner by Luka, though, he had the heart of a lion and nuts nuts of an elephant, because elephants, they do eat nuts. That's right. One of the things I like to eat. PG is a playoff choker. He has a history of choking in the postseason. Here's the thing, man. I'm telling you right now, you can make the case that the Mavericks should be up 3-1 on the Clippers. You can make a case that the Mavericks should be up 3-1 on the Clippers, because the Clippers have not looked convincing against the Mavs at all. Because if we're really honest, even though Porzingis did get ejected in game 2? No, was it game 2 or was it game 1? I think it was game 1. But anyway, when he got ejected, you would think that you could now focus on Luka Doncic and not worry about, the other players and just stay at home with the shooters. But even with that, it's still been difficult for the Clippers, because they don't defend. And it's like when they get off to good starts, they get complacent. Then all of a sudden they stop defending. I also got to get on Doc Rivers. But getting back to this real quick before I go back into the chat. Montrezl Harrell, if you guys remember, him and Luka had a skirmish in that game 3. And Montrezl decided to say some candid comments to Luka to his face when they were bumping each other in the low post. He said a racist comment. And I thought to myself, the last thing that the Clippers need is a distraction. And the thing is, Montrezl is wearing that equality on the back of his jersey. And then he decided to do that. And I'm just like, first of all, you have to understand that you got to have a little bit of more humility than that, Montrezl, because your grandmother just passed away. And again, rest in peace to her. But then it's like the Clippers, they haven't looked their best. Then you put this situation with what you said to Luka. I mean, and I give credit to Montrezl for apologizing, but I just thought that wasn't okay on his part, because now the Clippers have to deal with that. And then more important, you have to answer questions. And he went with a back and forth on Instagram. And I was looking at the comments, and then he was just saying something like, he was just answering kind of like in a snobbish way. And I'm just like, do you know what you just said, bro? Like, it doesn't make any sense that you would do something like that in the middle of a playoff series where you're the favorite to win, but you've looked this shaky. That's a problem. And I'm going to get to George Paul next in a second. But the Clippers defense is shaky. It is shaky. And like I said, I'm going to get to Paul George. But again, kudos to Montrezl Harrell for, apologizing to Luka. He only scored 2 points in 17 minutes as he's still working himself into shape. And you could tell that Montrezl is still not in game shape. And his timing is just very off. Again, guys, make sure to like the video. Make sure to share this. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check this out, man. As we go into the comment section, I guess LeBron is going to win this chip this year. I mean, we still got to wait, man. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got to give Mahari his wrench. That's a fact. I definitely got to do that. That's right, because Mahari gave one to me, so I got to give it to him. He's been rocking with me. So Mahari, I got you as a moderator, my friend. Congratulations. Thank you for showing support and also subscribing to me as well. And feeling is mutual. So Mahari, congratulations on being a moderator here on the Lewis Sports Network. Appreciate the support, brother. Continue doing your thing on your channel, and I'm always going to show support, my man. The series is tied at 2 games apiece. Exactly, Ryan. That's the thing, Ryan. I know the Clippers look shaky, and you're just saying, well, it's over, but it's a 2-2 series. If the Clippers were down 3-1, that'd be a problem. Or if they were down 3-0, then you would say the series is over. But again, this is anybody's series to win now. That's what the Mavericks have put in the minds of America. Especially, remember, we're in the bubble. So there's no home court advantage. Luka Doncic could just go out and play ball. He doesn't have to worry about the hostile environment of LA. He doesn't have to worry about that. He can just play ball. Same thing with Porzingis. They can just play basketball. Give credit also to Trey Burke. He chipped in with 25 points in this game. The Clippers had a hard time keeping them in front. Their rotations were terrible. I felt like the way that they kept helping on certain players when they didn't need to double was just awful. sometimes I got to ask myself, what is Doc Rivers telling these guys too? Because his coaching philosophy right now, in terms of their cross matches and their switches, it just doesn't make any sense. With all due respect to Reggie Jackson, why would you put Reggie Jackson on Luka Doncic? You gave him the mismatch. You gave him the matchup that he wanted. Now, Reggie Jackson did contest a shot, and there's nothing you could do about that because Luka Doncic shot that ball with confidence, and it's his go-to move if you guys noticed that at the end of games. But my issue is, why didn't you put a Paul George who stunk up the joint 3 of 13 from the field with 9 points? At least he could have proved himself on that defensive possession to see if he could get the stop so that the Clippers could have a 3-1 lead. But instead, Kawhi Leonard is staying on Max Kleber. Why? Paul George is staying on Seth Curry. Why? Almost makes it seem to me like neither one of you two wanted to smoke on Luka Doncic, which doesn't make any sense because Kawhi Leonard actually defended Luka very solidly. So why wouldn't, if I'm Doc Rivers, even also with Kawhi Leonard, y'all should have communicated saying that I got him because Luka has a hard time scoring on Kawhi Leonard. The bigger body, Kawhi has the bigger body, can move laterally with him, obviously. He's got the wingspan. Same thing with Paul George. Why weren't one of them guarding Luka Doncic? He's the best player on the team, other than Porzingis. It doesn't make any sense. Instead, they give him the matchup with Reggie Jackson. They get burned. And instead of the Clippers having a 3-1 lead, the Mavs tied the series up. And again, kudos to Luka Doncic. 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists. Luka is not the fastest player, but you know who Luka reminds me of? He reminds me of Rod Strickland. The reason I say Rod Strickland is because those guys are not the fastest players, but they know how to get to their spot. That's who he reminds me of a lot when I think of how he's able to maneuver around the court in the half-court set. He can get to his spot. And he uses craft and he uses skill. Luka doesn't have speed. He doesn't move laterally well on defense, but on offense, he finds a way to get to his spot. And I think that Rod Strickland, to me, is a very good comparison, in my personal opinion. Ryan, I would say the Lakers. I wouldn't say the Lakers winning it yet. If the Mavs are doing this to the Clippers, I can easily see them doing this to the Lakers. Use speed and athleticism. First time in the playoffs, 43, 17, and 13. That's crazy. I mean, immense. Okay. If KP's healthy, the Mavs have a shot of going up 3-2. Absolutely. Trez has awakened a monster. Exactly. And his mistake, and I know he apologized, but again, he messed up. Right. Reggie should not have guarded Luka. Bad coaching by Doc Rivers. Exactly. What is he doing? Yep. Flying space rock. They're getting cooked. Mavs would be up 3-1 if KP wasn't ejected. Well, here's the thing. You could make the case, but then at the same time, if we're really being objective, we don't know how that game would have turned out. What I will say is that the Mavericks, they would have had an opportunity to win that game. They would have an opportunity. So you should rephrase that, G Money, too. They would have had an opportunity to win the game. I don't know if they would have necessarily won because we don't know. I can't predict the future. But I will say it took them away the opportunity to win the game in the game that KP was ejected. So I think that's what you want to say. Shout out to Empty the Sports Clip. He says, what's up, Lewis? This series was never expected to be easy for the Clips. My Mavs and Lights Out Luka, the Dawn. Oh, that's a beautiful nickname right there. Putting the league on notice. Yep. It was game one, right. PG struggling reminds me of Ray Allen struggling in the 08 playoffs. Okay. Let me just go down real quick. All right, man. Clips won't win the chip if they don't defend and execute. The Clippers are far too relaxed when they get up by double digits and allow teams to come back. That's my issue with the Clippers. They're too complacent. This is why I'm kind of questioning Doc Rivers a little bit because you should be getting on your guys to get away from this complacency and this lackadaisical effort after you build a double-digit lead. It's almost kind of like well, we get this double-digit lead. We might as well just relax. I mean, I don't think they're going to come back. The Dallas Mavericks in this series, they're not afraid of you. So if you're looking at this as if you make a double-digit lead that the Mavs are just going to quit, you're wrong. The Mavs did not look great in the bubble. They look like Sacramento in terms of the games that they were playing. They were up by double digits. That's because they can score really well. But the Mavericks also can let you back in the game. But the thing is, with Dallas, we know this from them. They lead the league in most losses by 5 points or less. The problem is the Clippers lost a game by 2 points because Doc Rivers decided to put Reggie Jackson on Luka Doncic, and that mistake burned him. Now, did Luka take a tough shot? He did, but that's his go-to move. If you're the Clippers, you should have put Paul George or Kawhi Leonard on him, or as soon as Luka got the ball, you should have trapped him and make somebody else beat you from the team. Clippers defense is looking shaky. If the Mavs were up 3-1, the Clips might lose in 6. Kawhi was great down the stretch, but he waited too long to be aggressive. I would really say that more to Paul George because Kawhi Leonard, he did his thing. Kawhi Leonard he kind of struggled a little bit, but he stepped up in the fourth quarter, and he stepped up in overtime. As a matter of fact, Kawhi made a big play. The issue is playoff P, which I'll get to in a second. And Harold is expecting a big payday come free agency too. Kawhi looked good before the bubble, but he looks stiff now. He looks a little stiff. The Clippers started out defending well early, but once they had that 21-point lead, they became complacent. I felt Kawhi should have guarded Luka in those 3 seconds. I sometimes don't get why Steven Adams wasn't playing minutes yesterday. That's another thing. It might be because they're going small, Karam, because remember, the Rockets are playing small ball. When Morris hit the 3, I thought the Mavs would choke a 12-point fourth quarter lead. Wait. But the game went to – well, the Mavericks did blow the lead. They just didn't lose the game. The problem is that 3 put the Mavericks down by 1 after they were up by 2. If you look at the Kawhi Leonard drawing 3 defenders and then fake the pass to Paul George and then kick it out to a wide-open Marcus Morris in the corner, because you saw Finney Smith, he fell for the bait when Kawhi faked the pass to Paul George and gave it to Marcus Morris for 3. Why wasn't Marcus Morris on him too? He's another guy because he also played Luka solidly too. I'm not saying the entire game, but there were moments where he guarded him well. I'm saying you put a big body on Luka or force him to give up the basketball. Trap him. You didn't do that. And the Clippers got burned. All right, nice win, but the Rockets gave that game away. Yeah, the Rockets should have gone up 3-0, to be honest with you, because I thought the Thunder were gonna give the Rockets problems just without Westbrook. But the problem is the Rockets have actually changed their game. That's why the Thunder are having a hard time adjusting to them, because that's the problem. Clippers are looking bad. Oh, they're looking very bad. Continues to show up. Nice game and finish by Luka. Yeah, Luka's coming, man. Luka is coming. I'm telling you, this shows you that the league is in good hands. The fact that Luka had a triple-double like that, I better not hear a certain media member make an excuse. The Clippers got beat, plain and simple. They got beat. I'm glad the Clippers aren't really my team because they already giving me heartache just because they're my pick to win it all. Shout out to my man Freddie Gee up in the building, man. All right, man. Salute to my man. Yo, that's what I said before Luka drilled that 3-pointer. I said, why Doc Rivers didn't put Leonard or George on Luka before the shot? And I have to, like I said, I need to get on Doc Rivers' ass right now. The fact that this dude decided not to put any of those, you have 2 wing defenders and you chose not to put any one of them. It almost made us feel like if neither one of those guys wanted to smoke. That's what it tells me. Paul George don't have enough heart and pride to take on the challenge of guarding Luka. Every time Kawhi gets on Luka, he gets locked up. That's a good point. If the Clips do lose, I'm going for whoever comes out the East if the Lakers are the Western champs. All right. Big Hater, what's good, big fella? All right, Karam. All right, shout out to you guys. That was Luka-tastic. If the Mavs pull the upset, that shot will be immortalized forever. Right. Listen, you know what? Listen to me. I picked the Clippers because I thought that they were the deep team. But listen, I wouldn't be mad if the Mavericks move on to the second round because think about this. It would be a very nice story to see a different team. It'd be great. Now, the crazy part is Luka Doncic can actually create his legend in this postseason. It may not be the postseason that all of us had expected, obviously with no fans and with everything going on. But at the end of the day, this would be great. I think this would be great. It's great for basketball. I think it creates it creates a great story. Again, guys, make sure to like the video as you got coming in. We got 12 likes. We got 20 people watching right now. Salute to Jay. What is up, MTG99? I see you got that. I'm more disappointed in the Clippers than impressed with Luka. PG got to man up like Pippen the GOAT and take out Luka while Kawhi gets his 30. Right. Doc Rivers has a history of making critical mistakes in big moments. Yeah, that's why, like, it's crazy. PG not making shots. PG to me, he looks scared. If you ask me, he's afraid of the moment. That's what that's telling me. Uniquely designed. Shout out to you for coming through. He says PG is trash right now. Oh yeah, he is. He is. Let's see what happens in Game 5 because the Clippers are an experienced bunch and they shouldn't be rattled. Well, I'm really more so worried about Paul George. I thought the Mavs would lose if Morris hits a 3. Remember what G Money had said all season long. His concern was Lou Will and Paul George. Lou Will has actually played well. It's been Paul George that struggled. And remember, like I said before, no home court advantage, nothing, right? I'm very disgusted with the Clippers. There should be no possible way you have a 21-point lead and still lose the game. The thing is, this would have looked worse for the Clippers if they had a 21-point lead by the third quarter. They never should have given it up, period. But imagine if they was up big, close to late in the game, and then they give up and lose. That would have been even more terrible. Because remember, the Mavs went up by as many as 14, and they almost blew that lead. And the Clippers even went up in overtime. Let me continue in the comments section. Freddie Gee says, Brandon Nicholson, I didn't know they had a 21-point lead. Yeah, they had a 21-point lead at the start of this game. Devin says, what just happened? What happened was a few hours ago, the Clippers lost in overtime to the Dallas Mavericks, 135-133 in OT in the first half. He tired of people nailing game winners on him. Yeah, he is. That's right, Jay. He knows. Damian Lillard did it to him last year. So he didn't want the smoke. I'm about to get on Paul George's ass in a second, man. I still believe Kawhi will get it done to determine. Kawhi Leonard did his thing. There were moments that I questioned Kawhi when I was watching the game. Like, why was Kawhi made some mistakes with his turnovers on his passes. But the thing was, when it came to playing, he was there. He was there in the fourth quarter. Because G-Money, they want to see the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Shout out to my man, I Buy Houses. Appreciate you, man. Salute to the chat. Dropping by to show support. I've been saying the Clippers are not as deep as everyone had been saying. They have nice pieces, but most of them lack championship pedigree. This is why I said that Doc Rivers is doing a horrible job coaching this team, because you're a champion. If you're this championship coach, you're supposed to be giving championship experience and championship, degree. Telling these guys what it's been like, letting them know what it feels like. Paul George is coming out here. I'll get to him in a second. PG said he does other things in scoring, his good defense, but he was 3 of 13, right? Exactly. It's just shaking my head, man. Again, guys, like the video. The Jazz could possibly be up 3-0. Oh, you're talking about the Utah Jazz over the Denver Nuggets? Yeah, they should be up 3-0, honestly. They blew that game against Denver. Denver's look shaky too. I didn't think Denver was going to be the way that Denver they battled in overtime and they barely won that game. And then the way they've played the last two games, what's going on, bro? Reggie Jackson got burnt by those slow-ass crossovers, man, in that side step. Yeah, it's true, Freddie. But the thing is that the biggest problem that I already saw was Reggie was too small to guard Luka. Luka got the mismatch he wanted. Reggie Jackson's not a defender anyway, so that's on Doc Rivers. Jazz would be up 3-0 if Mitchell didn't have that turnover in game 1. That's facts. I thought about the refs too, man, but then again, the refs probably won't be a factor when you got PG wetting the bed and Doc Rivers' questionable coaching. Facts, Brandon. Facts. I don't understand Doc's rotations on defense, on who's got who. And the Clippers don't really communicate like that every time I watch them. It's like everybody is like kind of like, in their head, tooting their own horn, Of all people, why are you putting Reggie Jackson? Yep. If only the other Jay was here, he would be talking smack about Reggie Jackson right now. Are the Raptors my only hope to beat the Lakers? We got to see how this series turns out before I even consider Toronto. Did y'all hear that Kyle Lowry injured his ankle in the game? has lost his playoff P nickname. Too many single games to be called playoff P. Mavs were up 12 in the fourth, not 14. Actually, no, G Money. They were up 14 because at one point they were up 108 to 94. At one point, the Mavs were up 108 to 94. If the Mavs win game 5, I think it's over. PG has not won a series since 2014. Yo, let that sink in, man. PG needs to be aggressive and go to the basket. Paul George is a choker. Everybody who said it was Russ's fault owe him an apology. Oh, are you talking about for that 2019? If it's 2019, I gave both Russ and PG. It was both of their faults, to be honest with you. It was both of their faults. Paul George gets smoke, but Russ deserves it too. Because late in games, Russ has a problem with trying to do it by himself. Not just that, but Russ just doesn't make the smartest decisions down the stretch. And Paul George, I think he played well in that game 5, but Damian Lillard should have never had the ball in his hands because he's going to take the shot. If the Mavs win game 5, they're going to win game 6. Not to show my age, but teams nowadays are dumb, man. They get 2 3-point happy. Well, this is the era we're in. I agree. I've been telling people here about PG in the playoffs, man. Charmin soft. Charmin. I said Paul George is inconsistent all year. I said Doc is not the best coach. Lou, remember? Oh, I remember, Freddie. You said that from the beginning, bro. I know. I'm telling you right now, bro. It's crazy. If the Jazz win game 4, they'll upset the Nuggets. If they win game 4, they're winning in 5 or 6. Not slow as deceptive. Luka gets a lot of defenders with those moves. If Kyle Lowry's hurt, the Raptors are done. Well, not for the series against Brooklyn, but in the second round against the Celtics. The Clips look like the typical team with talent, but hasn't gelled as a team. But in their defense, they haven't played much together. Reggie Jackson is a bigger name than game. Very overrated. Jermaine, I agree with these 3-point happy teams. It's disgusting, man. I believe doing the place to execute those haymakers. Kawhi, PG, and Morris be sitting on those slow crossovers. Shout out to I love this game. Appreciate that, sis, man. She says Kawhi switched too easy. He should have never switched. That's what I'm saying because he had success guarding him. That's the thing, man. Why wasn't Kawhi not guarding Luka? I would love to know that question. Salute to my man. He knows his sport. Appreciate you. They were stupid for not double teaming Luka. They should have trapped him. Exactly. That's a great point, Freddie. Good to great defenders always force him to give him up the ball. That's true. And they were up 12. I said, what the hell is up with the Clippers? I know, man. All the powerhouse teams look beatable now, but that's the beauty of the playoffs. It's unknown. Freddie, those deceptive crossovers have a drive or a step back. You go forward and he getting the and one. The kid has that skill. Oh yeah. Yeah, but G Money, I already knew that I knew that the Sixers, they were gonna get swept. No Ben Simmons, and you could clearly tell, man, that it was just done. All right, man. Cliff should have put Kawhi on Luka. I was saying that. It looks like another sweep is impending. Oh, Toronto's up by 21? Oh, no, it's done. He says Luka is an offensive-oriented type of player. Oh, no, that we know. We know that. We know that he knows. We already know that. He will be exposed. Offense gets the glory, but defense wins championships. But yeah, that I already know. Luka's he's a defensive liability. I already knew that already. So, but that's on the Clippers. That's like I said, they gotta do that, man. They should have defended that last possession. I'm disappointed in the Clippers, man. Suns would have done better. I I'm coming out with a future video on the Phoenix Suns and that whole 8-0 thing. And that's with all due respect. That's with all due respect to those 8-0 Phoenix Suns. All right, man. Nah, PG locks in. If PG locks in, he would have shut down Luka. That sounds like a James Harden style. What was it? Without the athleticism and less creativity. I mean, he does. Kawhi got caught. Reggie taking Kleber, and that's a dunk. Went for the percentages if you don't double. A double at that moment is a dunk too. All right. Now let me get to this. Let me get to this sorry ass dude right here. Michael Jordan looking down on his tablet, looking at how Paul George went 3 for 13. Went 3 for 13. Nope. Oh yeah, nope. So I'm looking at Paul George and I'm saying to myself, yo, so when you struggle, bro, you said to yourself, you told people in on Instagram that they are no way. check this out. Check this out. Paul George was saying that he not James Harden. That his struggles that he ain't James Harden. First of all, why are you using James Harden? Oh, I get it. You're using James Harden to deflect the way that you've been playing. Ladies and gentlemen, he scored 9 points in 45 minutes. 9 points in 45 minutes. 45 minutes of action. He scored 9 points. He had the same amount of points as Marcus Morris, for God's sakes. He almost had the same amount as Landry Shamet, who had 8. Jermichael Green had 8. Heck, Zubac and Reggie Jackson outscored Paul George. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You were tied for the 5th best scorer on your own team. Think about that, guys. Paul George has 9 points and Dallas wins by 2. You think if Paul George plays better that the Clippers don't win this game? They win. But what happens? Instead, Paul George decides to struggle. Oh, yeah. Luka is a James Harden type of player. I've been saying that, but he just gets. I mean, he just finds a way to get it done. Luka's working. That's right. Shout out to my man Low Key T. Man, the Clippers suck. Oh, they suck right now. They suck right now. Devin Booker says a 2-year-old would have made more points. I love this game. When LeBron switched, all hell broke loose. True story. A rookie would have made more points, let alone a 4-year-old, man. Paul George needs to get off of James Harden and focus on helping his team win the series around. Exactly. I could be wrong, but it seems the Clippers aren't respecting the Mavericks. That's an interesting take. That's an interesting take. I love this game. Let me ask you guys, do you guys think that the Clippers are disrespecting the Mavericks and not really taking them seriously? And that's why they find themselves in a 2-2 tie right now. Mavs taking this series. Let's go. Alistair, get real, bro. You're a Toronto Raptors fan. Let's make that clear. And I know that you want Kawhi Leonard to lose so badly because Kawhi is no longer on your team. That's why you're cheering for the Mavericks. I already know. Like, come on, man. Anyway, look at George Paul. Look at George. Michael looking at Paul George. He's looking at Paul George right now, like George Paul. Like, are you serious right now? James Harden will drop 50 on your favorite defender. Luka will give up the rock. Shout out to 6'200". PG isn't James Harden on offense. Harden will kill. Yep, PG's looking worse than Harden on defense. That should be hard to do. Yeah. That's what's really sad. That's what's really sad. Michael Jordan looking at this. Yo, Paul George is a clown right now. He's a clown because talking about, oh yeah, we disrespected me for yo. I ain't James Harden. I ain't James Harden. Like, it's unbelievable, man. It is unbelievable the way that this is happening right now. Yep, Clippers were up by 21 and they started to play around. Yep. B-ball is by design, ebbs and flows. I'm willing to cash at anyone on the Clippers win game 5 and 6. I mean, we definitely got to see once they do. Clippers were up 21 and they started. I'm a Bulls and Nets fan, but I was going with the Clips since Kawhi, the LeBron stopper. But I love this. But I love the sport of basketball, so I feel like a couple of teams. But I don't want the Lakers. Yep, 9 points in 45 minutes. Think about that. Clips need to guard the perimeter and the paint. The Clippers have to keep their man in front of them. They have to stop doubling players that they don't need to double neither. If you look at their defense, Luka will take that shot on anybody. Says enough, make or miss. Many don't want that shot. Right? Yep. Yeah, they listen, listen, they better wake up because if they sleepwalk on a game that they must win in a tie series, because this is 2-2, and we know about game fives, the team that wins game 5 almost wins pretty much 80% of this series. It's rare that teams that are down 3-2 come back and then they win the series. It's rare. And that's in pretty much any round. So what about the rest? Like, what was his free throw assist? And it really doesn't matter, Devin, because he only had 3 assists and 8 rebounds. But the thing is, you only scored 9 points in 45 minutes. That means you're scoring. That means on average, you're scoring 1 point every 5 minutes. Yeah, whoever this King Namo is, man, just get him out of there. I will say that the Clippers have the capability, but they got to step it up defensively. They lose game 5, they're not winning this series. I mean, at the same time, this is a good thing for the Clippers because they need to understand that they cannot be taking teams lightly. So this is a lesson for them to learn. But hey, you can't appreciate that, Jay. I don't have a horse, and I agree with you. He knows the sport. I don't have a horse in the race, but anybody that can beat, I'm all for it. I see. All right. Jermaine says, oh, he said, don't play. He said, don't play. Oh, that's right. Yeah, back in the NBA Finals. That's right. They're going to step it up. They better step it up. I'm glad Luka didn't make the right basketball play. Hint, hint. Ah, I see. I see. Terrence Davis drove the half court 3, and the Raps are body slamming the Nets. I could care less about that game, honest with you. The Raptors went up 3-0. That series was pretty much over. The Nets, they just don't have enough. The Nets don't have enough. Next year, they got to make some roster decisions. They got KD and Kyrie coming back, and they have to be a better defensive team coming into next year. That's pretty obvious for Brooklyn. They just don't have enough. It's almost like I don't even really want to talk about the Raptors and the Nets because I knew that was a wash. I said the Raptors were going to sweep today, and that's what they're doing. The Raptors are just too deep for that team. Too deep. Shout out to my man Anonymous. Appreciate you. What's popping, man? What's popping, bro? Again, guys, make sure to like the video as you guys come in. Share on your social media platforms if you guys can. I truly appreciate that. Spreads news about the channel. That's a good question, Freddie. If you're the Clippers, how do you lose without Porzingis? How do you lose this basketball game without Porzingis? He was out with a sore knee. Luka Doncic injured his ankle in the third quarter of game 3. And y'all still lose? Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. Listen. I would agree with Alistair But the thing is, Alistair knows that the reason he's cheering for the Mavericks badly is because he wants Kawhi out of the playoffs. I already know it. He's just fanboying the Mavericks to make sure that the Clippers don't go to the next round because he doesn't like Kawhi Leonard because he left his team. Yo, for real, Devin Booker, that's a great point. He getting all this money for 9 points? Facts. Facts. Shout out to Anonymous. Appreciate you, man. They should have learned in game 2. Exactly, 6'2", 200. Yeah, the Clippers have been fooling around all season, but Hawks front office on suicide watch after this Luka preference. Oh, wow. I was being nice. I still got the Clips in 7, but the Mavs need to not keep fighting back from double-digit leads. Even though they won today, the Clips will make adjustments. Well, G-Money, after watching these first 4 games, I have to ask myself, is Doc Rivers going to really make adjustments? I don't know. Again, shout out to He Knows the Sport. Appreciate you. The Nets keeping the 7th seed was nice enough. Magic should have taken the 7th and didn't. Nets showed up and tried. They did. I'm telling you, if the Clippers lose game 5, you can kiss their championship dreams goodbye. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. Mahari just nailed it on the head. If the Clippers lose game 5, it's over. I have a funny feeling it's over. Now, tomorrow's game 4 between the Lakers and Portland Trailblazers. I'm pretty sure that the Lakers have been watching that, and I'm pretty sure that they don't want this series to be tied up against Portland. Because I might have to, get on that, man. On that one. What do I know? All right. Luka's already more clutch than he's already talking about LeBron. You asked how the Clippers lose today with no Porzingis. That's a simple answer. Doc Rivers coaching and Paul George pulling out a stinker. Brandon just answered the question, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty simple like that. Pretty much simple. You score 9 points in 45 minutes, 5 points per minute. That's a poor collect call if I ever saw one from Paul George. No, Freddie, they're deep. The problem is it's the way they play. It's the way that Doc Rivers coaches with his rotations. It's not good. They are deep. Oh, that's what they told me? Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I could see the Clippers losing. I could. If the Clippers lose game 5, they can still win in 7. If the Clippers bow out, PG will be replaced. That's also true too, Jay. That's a good point. Even if the Clippers lose 5, they could win in 7. But if you're the Clippers, do you really want to put yourself in a position where you lose game 5 and you're going to have to win 2 games? Knowing that Paul George is struggling, because if they lose game 5 with Paul George struggling, they're done. They're done. That's the problem. They're done. It's true. You remember what I said, that versatility doesn't always mean that makes you better. It's just like, also, you may be deep and talented, but it doesn't go as far as, again, that coaching and chemistry takes. You need that. If KD and Kyrie join these Nets, watch out. But Kyrie has to be on his best behavior. All right, Freddie, I don't care how deep and talented you are. If you don't take the opposition seriously, you will get a haymaker thrown at you. Right. Mahari says, I promise you, the Clippers fans are going to have PTSD. That's post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? Since blowing the 3-1 lead against the Rockets in 2015. If they blow this series, you have to consider firing Doc Rivers. Here's another thing, and that's a good point, Mahari, because not only are you going to have to fire Doc Rivers, because remember all this credit that Doc Rivers gets for coaching one championship team, and that's 2008 Celtics. I'm not saying that Doc Rivers isn't a bad coach. He's just not a great coach to me. I've always said that about Doc Rivers. You know why I say that he's not that great? Because he had a chance to get Tim Duncan to play with Tracy McGrady, and he turned it down. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the chat know about the Tim Duncan story with Doc Rivers when he was a free agent in 2000. That to me shows the stupidity of Doc Rivers. You know, Doc Rivers, man, he can run some great out of timeout plays, but that's nice and all. But what about in crucial situations? Now, it's up to the player to execute the play, but some of the things that should be obvious to you, you don't do the obvious. You do something that just makes you go, why would he do that? Why did he do this? It doesn't make any sense. Now, I get it. A lot of it has to be created with drama. But George Paul, once again, living up to his name. There's Michael Jordan laughing at Paul George. Yeah, Paul George has pretty much been bad pretty much this whole series. It's not the hater, it's the truth teller. Game 5 could have been an opportunity to close out the series for the Mavs. KP paid. See, that was much better what you said right there, G Money. That was better. Opportunity, because we still don't know if with KP in what the Mavericks would have won. That was a much better statement you put. They would have had it. It took away the opportunity for them to win. The games still have to play out, but it's what the NBA wants, because if the way that the NBA is looking, when they look at two teams, for example, if you look at a team that could get through the calls of the referees and they're just that good, they're not going to help the other team. Anonymous says, I took Amir's advice yesterday, lost 300 on the Magic, tried to believe in Alex and take the Nets today, another 300. What? Why did you? Anonymous, why did you bet 300 on the Magic? Listen, I knew after game 1 that the Bucks were going to make their adjustments. The Magic, they just don't have enough offensively, and they're not a deep team. Their defense could keep them in games, but the Bucks have finally woke up. That's why I said that if you pick the Magic from games 2 to 5, nah. But then the Nets, they just don't have enough against the Raptors. So I knew after the first 2 games that was going to be a quick series. Look what happened to Philadelphia. I think a healthy Philadelphia team would have been a better series, despite the fact that I still thought the Celtics were going to advance. But Philly got swept. And did y'all see how Embiid acted when they asked him a question? I told you that Doc Rivers is a trash offensive coach. He never had an offense in Boston. Just let the best players do whatever and run Ray off of some screens. Very simplistic. And then you can make the same about Tom Thibodeau, who needs an offensive guy because he just cares about defense. And then you got Mike D'Antoni, but whatever Houston is, even though Houston lost game 3 in overtime by 12, at least what they've been doing has for the most part worked so far. Okay, let's get to those Portland Trailblazers, right? PG isn't the guy, but I've said that here for a long time. Would never have PG at his price at any point. Interesting. All right. Hold on a second. I missed some comments. It's getting heated in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. LeBron is a prime example of the NBA giving him all the help they can, but he has been beaten by intelligent teams that know how to bear the fit. The thing that I've always said about LeBron James is that I'm not trying to hate on this guy, man. He has great individual basketball IQ. I just said that his team B-ball IQ isn't that great. I've always said that. People have called me hating, saying that, oh, he has one of the greatest IQs of all time. I said individual. I never said team, because a person who has a great IQ understands his individual and team IQ. That's the mind of a great basketball player. When you can only do things for yourself, but you're not able to really help the team like you should, your IQ has to somewhat come in question. But that's what I've always said when I analyze a guy like LeBron when it comes to his IQ. It's just his fans go crazy. Oh my God, he has the greatest IQ in NBA. Like, no. He has great individual IQ, but his team IQ has been lackluster pretty much mostly his entire career. George Paul. That's what he is. He ain't nothing but George Paul. Playoff P? My ass, please. Mahari says, all facts, man. The Magic had Tim Duncan in their hands and Rivers blew it. Imagine Duncan, McGrady, and Grant Hill in Orlando. Oh, my God. Here's the thing, too. I honestly think that if those guys came together, I think all of those guys could have prolonged their careers. That's what to me was so stupid about Doc Rivers. All three of those players could have played together for a long time. Obviously, you don't know what the future holds, but just think. You got the best power forward in the game in Tim Duncan, arguably. You get a young Tracy McGrady coming off of Toronto. You get a Grant Hill coming off of Detroit. How much longer would those guys have played together? Just think. But they don't think about that. They don't even think about that. They don't think about that. You know what, Mahari? I got a video request for you, my man, that you should do in the future. I don't know when you can, but this is Lewis Sports Network telling you this, Mahari. I think you should do a future video, and I think you should do your research on this, on why Doc Rivers failed of an opportunity to form a big three in Orlando with Tim Duncan, Tracy McGrady, and Grant Hill. Imagine what with that Eastern Conference that it was at that time in 2000. Just imagine if Tim Duncan was with Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill. Imagine. All right. Paul George just needs to drive more. Shout out to Terrence Ball 17. I've noticed Paul George has this issue in multiple playoff series where he was in OKC as well, man. Maybe he's not good in the spotlight. You know what, Terrence Hall and I'm sorry, Terrence Ball. My bad. Sorry, Terrence Ball 17. I said Hall. My mistake. Terrence Ball 17. You're right. He hasn't won a playoff series since 2014. And if you look at the last playoff series that he's competed in, I don't think Paul George is championship ready. I don't think he's championship ready. He's going to have to show me. Do you notice in the last couple of postseasons that Paul George does not really get the blame that he does? He really doesn't. He really doesn't. He hit under Russell Westbrook, and everybody knew because they didn't like Russ, he was going to get the blame. And Paul George is not playing well right now, and this is his response to all the fans. Oh, I'm not James Harden. Why are you on social media, Paul George? You should take a cue from your buddy Kawhi Leonard. Instead of talking back and forth with social media, you need to focus on playing basketball. Because if the Clippers don't win this series, they're obviously going to hate on Kawhi Leonard because he pulled the Kaiser Sose move of the offseason and came to the Clippers, and you was able to get traded there. But Paul George, you out of your own mouth, and as Michael is looking, and look, Michael's my witness. Look at him in the thumbnail. You're supposed to be looking at him as he's looking at you in his tablet. Michael's my witness when I say this. You said you never had a team to go up against LeBron James. You do now. But in order for you to possibly have a chance to meet the Lakers, LeBron and AD, if that does happen, because even though the NBA wants Clippers and Lakers, you got to see how things play out. Because the thing is, if you guys notice, the way that the refs, the way that they manage ball games, it's always going to depend on how a team plays. It always depends. It always sees that way, especially if the team is supposed to be picked to go deep. The referees decide that stuff, but the NBA is always looking at that. They're always looking at that. So great point, Terrence Ball 17. Empty Sports Clip says Pat Bev is a key out of the 4 clips for defense and scrappiness play against an offensive juggernaut in the Mavs. Doc is having the same struggles with the Clips as he did with Boston. That's get guys to stay focused. That's Doc Rivers' problem. That's his problem. Shout out to Jay if my thing works. Okay, he says Blazers win and lose the same way. Nurk seems tired. Hasn't been back that long to play these playoff minutes. That's true. Doc do make some great out of timeout plays, Lou. I give credit where credit is due. Yeah, but what I'm trying to basically say is that if you're telling me that makes you a great coach, I'm sorry. I think the Mavericks can beat the fix. Luke is too hungry. I know Pat Bev is out, but the Clips have too much depth, experience, and personnel not to adjust. Again, that's on Doc Rivers. If you're this great coach, as people make you out to be by your peers, you're supposed to do better than that, especially if you won a championship. It's just cash to me. I won 2K. Oh, okay. And 1K. Oh, okay. Got you. Magic could tie the series the way the playoffs are going because the Bucks have been up and down. Well, that's right, because they're 2-1. Embiid was salty. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good name. I gotta dang, I missed so many comments. I'm surprised. All right. Chris Middleton finally showed up. Eric Bledsoe has been I wouldn't say great. Who is listening to Amir for bets, man? That's on you. Not smart at all. Amir still thinks injuries is the Magic are losing to the Bucks with blinders on. Big facts. He's soft, though. PG should play like Tatum. He thinks he's Kemba Walker or something, man. Like, he's not 6'9". Like, he's not 6'9". I probably agree with you. You are definitely not wrong. The Blazers' biggest issue in this series against the Lakers has been their rebounding. Defensive rebounding has been an issue for the Portland Trail Blazers. I didn't say offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding. Lakers getting too many offensive rebounds on them. And it's true, Nurkic does look tired. Yeah, but G-Money, we keep saying Dame and CJ need to be consistent. What does that mean, though? And to ask both of those guys to play defense, that's asked a lot because neither one of those guys like to play defense. Dame Dollar loves to play offense. And that's why I'm not trying to hate on Dame Dollar, but the thing is, his offense is a mirage to say that he's carrying teams. But let's be real. He don't defend on that other end of the floor. Neither does CJ. Those guys love to score the rock. The Blazers, yeah, they're boneheaded. That's also their coach, Terry Stotts, too, who was another guy that should get fired. Yep. Shout out to Buki Allen, PG. Yeah, PG's scared to attack the basket. That's Sharman soft at the basket. I have to call you out on that. His team IQ is top notch. Reason why he has so many assists as a 3. No. I understand why you call me out on that, Anonymous, but the thing is, I'm telling you, there's a reason for that. I've studied LeBron's career enough to know that there's levels to his assists. There's levels to that. There's levels to that. No excuses for PG-13. Nope. Oh, man, Ron said he looking like RuPaul. That's funny. Damn, Lewis, call you out. You better have your facts straight. Don't have better facts. So Lewis step lightly. All I got to say is anyone going against Lewis in sports, hey, appreciate that, Anonymous. I know some dudes will all listen, man. I'm not always all knowing, but I can try, man. I always try and do my research, man. Point forward isn't a true 3. It's not. It's just somebody who has the ability to make plays at the forward spot. But that doesn't mean you're a true point guard. It's just, he has the ball a lot in his hands. And here's another thing that people also fail to understand, too. They're talking about this whole thing, LeBron switching to point guard. LeBron really has not even played defense on the point guards, honestly. He's been playing defense on wings. He's not playing defense on point guards. He plays point guard, but he defends the wings. Oh, I love this game right there. That's bars right there. PG needs to eat, sleep, and think. Get to the basket. Attack the paint. It may not rhyme, but those are bars right there. That'd be a nice t-shirt right there. PG needs to eat, sleep, and think. Get to the basket. Attack that paint. PG had the same issues in big playoff games in Indiana. Single-digit P started in Indiana, not in OKC. Oh, yeah, that's true. You look at 2017. You look at Did the Pacers make the playoffs in 2016? I don't even remember. It was all good just a week ago. I was just saying, you know what's so crazy? PG-13 was playing so well in the bubble, and then Kawhi was looking terrible in the beginning. Kawhi started to pick up his offensive late, and look at Kawhi in this series right now. Kawhi is shooting 53%, and he's averaging 33 points and 10 rebounds on 53% against the Dallas Mavericks. Yet Paul George, as soon as the playoffs start, he struggles. What is that telling me? That tells me that Paul George is acting more so like a regular season player. Pandemic P is terrible. Kawhi from my neck of the woods, i.e. Cali, he plays his NJB ball in Moreno Valley. He was a problem then. Then he hit MLK High in Riverside. Oh, yeah, for sure. Shout out to Black Tiger. He says LeBron is getting that 4th ring. We got to see, man. I got to see how things play out before it's definitive that it's going to happen. Playoff P is worse than playoff Eric Bledsoe. Damn, that's Portland isn't intelligent enough to beat the Figs, man. They take bad shots and have no defensive intelligence. I love this game. Speaking facts. The funny thing is, I'm not going to mention his name, but I can't mention it. One of the people in the sports media on one of the shows. It's the show that comes after the one that's at 9:30 on FS1. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The double S. And one S that likes to wear Jordans, what he said was that the Blazers were done after game 2. It's because I got to see how game 4 plays out, but I love this game is right. The Blazers are not intelligent enough to beat the Figs. It's with the players they have on their team and then also their coach. Can we also say Rick Carlisle is winning the coach matchup against Doc? You could say that because I was just trying to support a mere team can show more support than put. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean that Dame and CJ need to be more aggressive going to the rim instead of just continuous jacking jumpers. I mean, CJ, at the very least, has actually attacked the basket way more than Dame Dollar. Maybe he's still taking outside shots, but he's at least tried to attack the rim much more than Dame Dollar, at the very least. Dame Dollar loves to just come off that screen, shoot that 3, or pull up for 3. And then Carmelo starts to fall for that too. That's the thing, man. I'm not the one to really slander players when they have bad games, but Paul George is becoming a character flaw in the playoffs. I agree, Terrence Ball. 137 mil might have to get relooked, man. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And I like that objectivity. And I understand that you don't try to throw slander, but that's a good point, man, because how are you making this amount of money? And you're still out here, you're choking on fish bones out here. If the Blazers were an intelligent team, they would beat the Lakers. They have guys that can have some good individual defensive moments, but they need to do it as a team. I agree with Lewis on Dame. Dame has gotten lost in the 4th quarter, and his defense is sus. He has deferred to Melo in the 4th. And I want to stick on this comment because remember what Dame Dollar has said about Melo. Remember, Melo had turned him down twice. Dame Dollar said that, I want Melo in the league. I don't want him on my team. Portland struggles, and then both of them Melo desperately signs with Portland. He's back on the court. And like I said before, I'm happy for Melo. But it's crazy that Melo has been the only player right now that has actually played better defense than just about any Blazer on the team other than Hassan Whiteside blocking shots. Also, I got to ask Terry Stotts this question. Why would you not put Hassan Whiteside in the 4th quarter in that game 3? Had it not been for Melo scoring 13 in the 3rd quarter, I hate to say it, but think about it. The Blazers would have gotten blown out. They lost by 8 points, but they should have been blown out had it not been for Melo scoring 13 in the 3rd quarter. Melo was actually playing very well. Like, when's the last time you saw Melo not only giving you a big scoring quarter, but then also not only Melo giving you a big scoring quarter, but then also was actually playing some solid defense on LeBron. I'm not, there was moments where he was actually doing a very good job. But yet, Dame and CJ, the two best players on this team, number one, they're small. And number two, I told you, Damian cares about scoring. People have come at me and said, oh, Damian Lillard, he's so clutch because he's got buzzer beater in the playoffs. I keep telling people that it takes more than buzzer beaters to be a clutch player. And people keep trying to measure clutch with buzzer beaters. It takes more than that. You have to look at totality of work. You have to look at big games. If you're clutch, let's say that you play big in an elimination game, in a do or die game. That's clutch. Or you score this many points in the second half when your team needed to, when you were trailing by double digits. That's clutch. Or in the fourth quarter, in the last 5 minutes of the game, you score 12 or 13 points and lead your team to a win in a close game. That's clutch. Or the last 3 minutes, or the last 2 minutes, or the last minute, or the last 45 seconds, 40 seconds, 25 seconds. But all people do is just look at buzzer beaters and say that, oh, that's clutch. Dame and CJ are being consistent. What they do is still being consistently done. CJ is hitting shots in these playoffs. Dame has a finger injury on his offhand. How he holds the ball bothers him. That's true. That is true. Do you think Doc Rivers still holds a grudge with PG because of his daughter? Wait, what do you mean by that? Did something happen between Doc and PG? Wait, Doc Rivers just said that the Clippers are emotionally weak after the loss? Emotionally? That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. Wow, G Money with that crazy memory, man. It's crazy. LeBron is a point guard on paper. He's playing the same way he's played his entire career. This notion that he's a point guard needs to stop. I've been saying that. Pacers made the playoffs in 2016, but they were bounced in 7. All right. So is that what's going on? That there's an issue between Paul George and Doc because of his daughter? I wonder what that's about. I never knew about this. If the Blazers lose game 4, they will go home in 5 because they play too much ISO one-on-one and don't feed Melo when he's in a rhythm. My issue with them is defense. Lewis, I graduated in 03. LeBron is my guy. I've watched him play since high school. They would show his games on. We would finish our games and make it home to watch. Listen, I ain't got no problem with you being a LeBron fan. I just wish that LeBron fans would tell the truth about his career. And I'm not saying you in particular, Anonymous. I'm just saying people who don't hold them accountable, who don't understand that what he says isn't always true in the media. That's what I'll be saying, man. But that's all I'd be saying. That's a problem. The lies that the media always be talking about Brown is just it's amazing. The more that they lie, the more it makes me dislike Braun. And Braun plays to the narrative, which is what pisses me off about him a lot. Oh, all you got to do is out-coach him. That's true, Jay. The Blazers would have been raw with a reason. Yeah, their chances would have looked a lot better if Rodney Hood and Trevor Ariza were on the team. Those are two big pieces. The problem with Portland is erratic defense, spotty rebounding, and too much hero ball. But that's why I also say that this falls on Terry Stotts, too, as a coach, because you let it happen. The Blazers, they stay ball watching on defense. And when the rebound is up, they just look up and nobody tries to grab it. CJ needs to slow down because once he gets going, he starts to have itchy trigger fingers and just makes bad choices. Mostly with his jump shooting. He'll tend to cross over, takes a quick shot. He'll pull up for 3, take a bad shot. Dame and CJ dribbled the hell out of the basketball, which I don't like neither. They don't move the ball neither. Their ball movement is suspect. It hasn't been good since the first half of what, really? Game 1 and then game 3 in the first half? Gary Trent Jr. has been good defensively, but my issue is why are you putting him on LeBron James? He's too small to guard him. Could he bother him? Yeah, but once LeBron starts to explode and drive on him, Gary doesn't have a chance to stay in front of him. Exactly, Jay. That's what I'm talking about. He pulled Melo out when Melo got going and when LeBron came out. You have to ride the horse until you can't ride that horse no more and it falls off. I will say that free throw disparity was crazy though. The fact that Portland really couldn't get aggressive too because the Lakers got 43 free throws. LeBron and AD combined had 36 of the team's 43 free throws. That's hard to beat too though. Oh yeah, Gary Trent is becoming more underrated by the second. That's facts. Really? I live in Cali. I can't stand the Lakers as much as I love to see LeBron, man. I love watching the Lakers lose more. Oh wow. CJ playing nice, though. I will say that. I mean, I give CJ credit for playing with a fractured back. He might come down to earth. That's a good point. Yeah, the bigs are playing soft, but Nurkic to me looks very tired. He looked real tired at the end of Game 3. He's not. I still think that he's not in condition when it comes to playing all those minutes coming back from injury. Remember, he only had 8 games really to prepare. With the injury he had, it usually takes longer to kind of get yourself back in shape. Raps complete their first sweep ever, and Raps bench scored 100 bench points. I'm really not impressed with that. You know why? And I'm not saying that I'm not impressed with the Raptors because the Raptors they're showing that they're a great team. The problem is that they're going up against a Nets team that, let's face it, there's really nothing much out there. With all due respect, it shows you that the Raptors are deep, but the Nets are not really guarding anybody. They don't, like I said, they don't have enough to beat Toronto. Wow. When was he going out with her? That's for Bubble TV drama. Typical first round nonsense this decade. PG used to date Doc Rivers' daughter, and he knocked up a stripper. Said the same last live, man. We hear y'all. All right, my bad. Terrence says, isn't Luca 21? Yeah, he's only 21 years old, Terrence. He's only 21. That kid is coming, man. I wish MJ was giving PG his basketball powers. What powers? Luca wouldn't let the Mavs die. The Mavs could have let go of the rope. No, one thing that I know about the Mavericks, they're going to compete. They're going to compete. It's just the Clippers, their execution on defense was just terrible. Doc Rivers just showing me. I felt low key, it felt like if Paul George was actually kind of throwing that game away with the fact that he settled for jumpers pretty much all game long. The one time he attacked the basket was in overtime where he got the layup. And even on the layup that he went on the right hand side, it looked like he could have made that, but it didn't happen. CJ reminds me of Beal from the Wiz. Tons of games just don't got that superstar mentality. Yeah, but you ride the hot hand more when you are losing the free throw disparity. Blazers paid for it. It changed the rest of the game when the hot hand went to the bench because LeBron went to the bench. That's true. When you're losing the free throw disparity, you got to make that up with the player that's right now hot on your team. And the fact that because Melo went cold in the fourth. Some of these coaches are just duds. Okay, G Money. I get it. I know they're going to be playing Boston. We got 2 sweeps, Raptors and Celtics. I know. That's going to be a good series. But there's no Gordon Hayward. The Celtics have Jaylen Brown, and they've got a little more athleticism on their side with their wings, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Marcus Smart on defense. That's going to be an interesting series. It was last year in as a Pacer. CJ's better overall than Beal. CJ's a better competitor than Beal. I got to say that. Yeah, that's true. Okay, G Money. Luka's been a pro for a while, though. Yeah, he's been playing Pro Bowl, I think, since he was 12 or 13 years old, I believe, is what he said. Yeah, the thing is, Luka even said it to the media that he really is not like in awe of today's basketball because he's seen it already while he was overseas, and he had been playing competitively for a long time. So he's used to it. So he's not in awe of pretty much what's going on. When he attacks, he always does the Euro. He just needs to just attack, not Euro step. You're not Ginobili, baby. Ah, I see. Again, guys, make sure to like the video as you guys come in. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to the Lewis Sports Network, and then also make sure to share on your social media. Yo, you guys have kept it fire in the chat, man. Yo, it's been lit in here, man. It's been awesome. You guys are always killing it in the chat. Oh my goodness. Let me just get into the comment section real quick. Let's see. It'd be fun for the Jazz and the Mavs in the second round, and both teams pulled off crazy upsets. Being pro overseas is exactly that. Ask Tony Kukoc. Yep. I like MPJ's game. I do too. It would be cool to see Denver win, but the Jazz and Mitchell are fire. It sucks to pick, but Jazz are going to win. I think the Jazz are going to beat the Nuggets. I don't see Denver winning the series. The Mavs kind of remind you of the 2013 Warriors when they upset the Nuggets and nearly beat the Spurs. Both teams are powerful offensively. I'm telling you, Lewis, Hawks front office on suicide watch, trading Luka for Trae Young. When's your next game stream? It's actually going to be tomorrow, Ryan. I have wanted to do it today, but just with everything going on this weekend, I just said, you know what, let me just chill. I'll make sure that I'll talk to D, and we'll come back with the basketball tomorrow. I think the game that we're probably going to do is probably, I want to say either Thunder. Let me see. We have. Hold on a second. I like how it says Game 5 and Toronto leads 4-0. I mean, they won the series. It's true though. So we got the Bucks and the Magic 130, Rockets and Thunder at 4. I'm either gonna do Rockets. No, I'm actually gonna do. We're actually gonna do probably Pacers and Heat. Probably might do a little bit of the Lakers and Trailblazers. Who knows? So probably do some. I'll think about it. I probably might do a back-to-back just to kind of. But I'll talk to D. We'll probably do Pacers and Heat tomorrow just to see. Miami does lead 3-0 in that series, and then the Lakers are up 2-1 on the Trailblazers. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna get to your comment, Terrence. The Mavericks winning today makes me think of Dallas beating a highly favorable Miami Heat team. That's a good comparison, actually. It is. Imagine if Lucas shoots free throws and the three ball better. I know, because he hasn't shot well from the line. Atlanta Hawks have been suspect since the Danny Manning trade. Yeah, that's facts. All right, Terrence says, yo, Lou, I mean, I'm trying to justify PG's shortcomings so far this series, but I can't be the only one finding this peculiar that this has been a continuing issue for him. This ain't a good look, bro. It's true. It's true. The thing is that up to 2014, we was talking about, Paul George is young. He's been able to get deep into the playoffs. He went back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm like, okay, he has the major injury, trying to work himself back. But damn, his last 3 postseasons, and then you're finally on the Clippers, and you're saying to yourself, okay, let's see what Paul George is made of now that he's on the best team he's ever been on. And he looked good in the bubble, and I kept saying in many live streams, I said, Paul George looks good. I said, maybe he's ready for the playoffs, but I got to see how he does in the playoffs. And he's struggling against a Mavericks team that had Porzingis ejected in game 1, where Luka Doncic missed the rest of game 3, and then Porzingis missed game 4, and Paul George is still struggling. And what people don't understand is the Clippers, other than Boban, they don't have size. The Mavericks don't have size. Yet PG-13 looked like he was throwing the game away, and the Clippers still almost won this game despite the fact that Paul George went 3 for 13 with 9 points in 45 minutes, making $137 million, which he got from the Thunder, by the way. And I agree with you. It's not a good look at all. It's not. So Terrence Ball he's absolutely right. The fact that he's doing this right now, that's not a good look for Paul George at all. The fact that you're engaging with the media, what else? The fact that, now I'm hearing about this issue with Doc Rivers. I'm saying to myself, if that's the case, then your distraction could cost the series. And remember what Montrezl Harrell just did in game 3 with what he said about Luka. It's not a good look. You're right, Jay. How many rings Kukoc won? Yep, they come ready from the Euro League. A lot of good players have slipped from the Hawks. Miami trying to smoke the Pacers and be the 139th team to win a series when leading 3-0. Like I said, G-Money, one of these days, got to start that channel, bro. EuroLeague has better fundamental play. You have to, when you play below the rim, today's kids lack that skill set. Yeah, that's the one thing that I appreciate about European players. Miami is a dark horse. That's facts. They did too much ISO with Joe Johnson. White horse, dark horse, blue horse, Bucks in 7. Paul is very good, but he's just not that guy. Miami's my other favorite team, but my concern with them is those shooting droughts that go on at times. ISO Joe was good. He just had no help. His backup game was unstoppable at times. I like Joe Johnson. They just really didn't have another person that could create their own shot other than him. Said that comment. Same reason. Most play under the rim. Smaller hands have a hand in it too. The rumor about PG and Doc's daughter started before he even played for the Clippers. Oh, so that means this was in Paul's days in Indiana, probably. Wait, either in Indiana or probably in OKC. That's most of these teams. I kind of side-eyed when I learned that PG was traded to the Clippers. I wish they kept Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Lewis won't recognize the WNBA. No. Don't get me wrong. Listen, look, the WNBA, they got a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong. Those ladies can play. They're fundamentally sound and they have great skill. The problem is because they don't entertain like the NBA is why they don't get noticed. That's just the truth. Like I said, I was a fan of a lot of WNBA players when I used to watch it like religiously back then. When the NBA on NBC, whenever there was a game that finished and they were doing the WNBA on NBC, I used to watch. I tell you, I can name a lot of WNBA players that I watch. I know some of them in today's game. I know obviously about Sue Bird, Breanna Stewart, Elena Deladon, Angel McCautry, Skylar Diggins. I know quite a few. I know newly signed Nike product Sabrina Ionescu, that great player from Oregon who was the #1 draft pick in the draft. I know about her. But I know WNBA players. Cappie Pondexter. Trust me, I could go on and on with this stuff, man. Trust me. Yeah, man, live by the 3, die by the 3. But yeah, I can name. They don't market the ladies right. Yeah, that's why when you see the NBA telling these players to support, my question is, what is Adam Silver doing that he's really not marketing these ladies right? The players have to go out and support? No. How about you figure out a way to market the women, just like how you market your? And the thing is also, you can say that you're not even marketing your NBA players right. even though that they're right now more marketable than the women right now. Because there's a lot of stars, but who do they stock their investment in? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The ladies to me are more fundamentally sound than the men are when it comes to basketball. Oh, the fundamental. Wait, I thought I did mention the fundamental part. I skipped that because you said I wouldn't recognize the WNBA. No, I didn't skip it. I have put it there. It said when you said you were right, Jay. The best fundamentals come from the WNBA. Believe it or not, them girls play technically sound. And I said that I said them and the European players have great fundamentals. The best part about the WNBA too, they actually execute more. When you look at their plays, they really are about execution, and they're very well coached. All the teams. There's some players who obviously go one-on-one and stuff like that because they got good one-on-one games. But for the most part, all of these women in the WNBA, then they're not only technically sound, but they listen to the coaching and they execute their offense. Something I can't say about NBA players today. Lauren Jackson. Oh, I know. I think she won an MVP. I think she was an MVP. Well, who do we have? Sue Bird, Debbie Black, Teresa Witherspoon, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops. She was actually my favorite player on the Comets, even though I liked. I know Janeth Arcane, Tiffany Snow, Natalie Williams when the Utah used to be there. I remember 7'2". What was it? Margot Dudek. What was that? Her name? That European player. Obviously, Lisa Leslie, Delisha Milton. I remember Shamiqua Holtzclaw, Nikki McCrae. Trust me, man. I go way back with this stuff. I go way back. What was that chick that said she could take Boogie one-on-one? I mean, obviously, I know about Maya Moore. I love Maya Moore. Simone Augustus, Lindsay Whalen. Yo, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Clippers need to stop letting Luka go one-on-one because he can create mismatches and kick out the shooters like Curry, Hardaway, Burke, and KP if he comes back. Something tells me that Porzingis will be back in Game 5. I think so. I think Porzingis will be back in Game 5. I doubt that they're going to let him. He's going to miss this game. I doubt it. I doubt he'll miss it. Remember, guys, make sure to like the video. Make sure to share on social media. You guys have been killing it. He says, y'all remember that chick that said she could take Boogie one-on-one? Who was that chick? I still don't remember. Duncan Robinson comes to mind. Tyler Hill is my favorite young prospect. Okay, nice. I didn't even know PG in the media. That very low emotional intelligence right there. Homie has been in the NBA for too long. Jeez, I can only imagine Leonard's frustrations. See, that's my thing. And that's a great point that you brought up, Terrence, because Kawhi Leonard, this is why the media, they can't stand the fact that this dude is not on social media or even give him, or he gives them pretty much clout for them to talk because they want that relationship. Kawhi won't give it to him. So that's why Kawhi can't be really marketed because he really doesn't talk much. Now, he's a different person in the locker room from what I heard from teammates. Especially if you ask the Toronto Raptors players that played with him last year, they'll tell you what kind of guy Kawhi Leonard is. But Paul George, he's struggling. He's talking about, oh, y'all know about my struggles. I ain't no James Harden. Like, you got your own problems to worry about. You're in a 2-2 series tie, bro. Like, quit the cabin, bro. It's a lot of young talent, man. Yeah. I love this game says, I love ball and play ball in school. And as a woman, I don't watch women's b-ball much either. Women have just as much fundamental skills and passion as the men. The game just looks different. Yeah. That's a very good way to put it. I just think that when it comes to fans, there are fans who like the WNBA. But like I said, when it comes to the entertainment, you get wowed by the 3-point shooting of a Steph Curry or the athleticism of an Aaron Gordon or a Zach LaVine. That's what that's what they like. That's what they like. So that's the reason why it's not as, marketable as it probably should be, Smash a like, hit that subscribe. Kawhi is already calculating the probability and chances of him trading playoff P. Imagine if he try to get Paul George traded. No longer is LeBron James going to be looked at as the GM. Kaiser Sose, a.k.a. Kawhi Leonard, is going to be known as the new GM. Mark my words. Kawhi is probably – see what I did there? Mark my words. Kawhi is probably saying to himself, damn, he could have been going home in the first round. He should have stayed in Toronto. If Kawhi Leonard gets eliminated in the first round, it's not looking good. Cheryl Miller in her prime would smack a lot of these NBA players nowadays. She was fire. Oh yeah, Cheryl Miller. I mean, she was called the best. What was it? The greatest women's player to ever play. If I were KP, I would play Game 5. Mavs have an opportunity to pretty much send the Clippers packing if he plays and helps out in Game 5. Let's see. Cheryl Miller. Can't spell your mom's legendary friend's name, right? Come on. Shout out to Papi Chulo, Chad. Luka the God. I mean, he's looking like it right now. Yep. He's only averaging 11 points per game. Let that sink in. The second best player on the Clippers is averaging 11 points. And just when I was afraid for Lou Williams, he's played great in this series. Cannot say the same about your boy Paul George. Cannot. I cannot or will not. Luka over PG-13. Luka had a playoff career high 43 points and was showing the whole repertoire today. Oh, yeah, I know, G-Money. He had a 43-point triple-double. We was mentioning that. I mentioned it earlier I put it in the community post. Over Antetokounmpo, traded P. Kawhi could have built a dynasty in Toronto. That's actually true. That actually would be true if they would have won another championship. Imagine Toronto sports would never be the same if he was to build a dynasty over there. That's a good point, Bobby Chulo. That's actually a good point. Over Luka. I think PG will show up. Hopefully it won't be too late when he does. That's the thing. He needs to stop talking to the media. Leave that BS aside. Leave it alone. Focus on helping your team because the media will ridicule you. They're going to rip Kawhi to shreds because a lot of those guys don't like him because he plays for the opposite LA team. But they're going to get worse on Paul George because you've complained about not having the team to go up against LeBron James. And the fact that you probably won't even get a chance to face him and you lose and you get upset by Luka Doncic without a Kristaps Porzingis if he doesn't play in Game 5 and stuff like that and he carries. I think that Paul George will step up, but more importantly, he needs to step up. What happens with the WNBA is though the girls they can ball. People are just are used to seeing those athletic plays that you see in men's game. Yeah, that's what it is. They're so used to it's kind of like when players hit home runs. They say that chicks dig the long ball. So that's the thing. The home run is what gets exciting. It's the same thing with the way that athleticism is used in men's basketball. He could have. I haven't even seen. I think I've seen Al Horford's Nikes. They're nice. They're nice. That's another thing that I'm glad you mentioned Max Kleber's name. He's missed a lot of easy layups. He's missed a lot of open threes, and we have a 2-2 series tie. So just think about if Maxi Kleber gets going. Imagine if Porzingis comes back. Either PG steps up or Kawhi plays the entire 48 minutes. That may not be a good sign if Kawhi has to play all 48. He'll show up on my milk cartoon in my refrigerator. Huh. Kleber is the most underrated defender. It's interesting, though, because Raptors still won 50 games without Kawhi this year. They can easily upset Boston and Milwaukee and reach the finals again. Now, if the Toronto Raptors were to reach the NBA Finals, that it'd be interesting to see if the Toronto Raptors do get to the finals. Because I'm still a little bit iffy on Milwaukee. Boston isn't going to have Gordon Hayward. Wing threes are his shot, especially Max Kleber. If you notice, he loves to shoot from the left side of the three, and he likes to shoot from the corner too. Lou, what's your thoughts so far on how the NBA has successfully keeping the bubble COVID free? Before Lou Williams almost blew that up. You think more sports complexes should follow this? I don't see why football doesn't try it. Now, has the basketball been at times pretty sloppy? Yeah, it's also because a lot of these players have not played in 4 months. But getting back to what you said, Terrence, I mean, yeah, you got to give credit to the NBA where credit is due. The fact that they've had less positive tests and they've been able to still run, these games. I think that they've done a pretty good job. Now, I don't like the whole virtual fans, but the thing is you got to get used to it. So you got to deal with it. At the end of the day, basketball is basketball. Fans or no fans. It may feel a little bit different because it feels like a summer league scrimmage game. But you got to deal with it because a lot of people have wanted sports to come back. They've missed it. So, but that's a good point. It's something that's awesome. Look, if you look at baseball, for example, Terrence Ball, they should have used the bubble. Look how many cases they have with COVID, and then look how many teams have had their games canceled. I remember the Cardinals, they didn't play for over a week. I think they had 17 days that they had not played baseball. There have been series canceled due to COVID tests in baseball. Can we talk about the Sixers? What in their sweep? So yeah, Terrence, more people should follow. AK says if Kawhi was still with the Raptors, they would be a lock for the finals every year. In that Eastern Conference, well, you would say that unless we're looking at a team like I'm interested to see what Brooklyn looks like. And then with Milwaukee, you just don't know about Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe. And then obviously the wall built around Giannis. The Sixers got swept. In my high school track coach was Danny Harris. He won a silver medal. Oh, wow. Really? That's crazy. Tobias and Horford didn't make a single three until the elimination game. How about the immaturity of Joel Embiid after game 4, after they got swept, and Ben Simmons got injured? The Sixers they're a disjointed basketball team. I told people from when they traded Dario Saric and Robert Covington, they lost JJ Redick and they lost Jimmy Butler, and they traded for Tobias, who makes a lot of money. I said the Sixers are not the same team. Even if you have a healthy Ben Simmons, they're not the same team. I said that. I can't wait to hear what Skip has to say tomorrow. Melana Martin was the women's basketball coach, and that she played for the Lynx in the early WNBA play. Okay. I give a shout out to Trey Burke. He's been balling. Yeah, 25 points today. Playoff P has been missing since 2014. They need to put a milk carton out there and say, have you seen me? Haven't been available. Can you find me? Playoff P missing. Put his face on a milk carton and see if you can find him. Put him on posters outside, whatever you connect it to, see if you can find him. Because he has been missing. Can I find that dude? Right? Okay. Papi Chulo says the Sixers. Skip said that Luka's the worst 3-point shooter in the bubble. How ironic, right? Imagine the irony. The Lakers fall to the Raptors in the finals. That'd be crazy because they have no superstar. Skip baseless. AK and Chad. Very typical of him. That's LeBronto. Well, LeBron owns Toronto from the DeRozan days, not. Chill. It's not going to be as bad because, well, no, it's going to be bad for LeBron because he's 3-7 in the finals, but it wouldn't be so bad for Laker fans because they'd be like, well, he got to the championship. I don't even know how it's going to work, man. I don't even know. You think Luka could be the next LeBron? I don't know. Oh, yeah. That's right, Jay. We know who. We already know who's staying, man, and who's going, most likely. Jermaine, you that confident? Okay, let's see. And the chat's been on fire. Oh, wait, did I? Okay, I was wondering. Nah, it will take key injuries, one hell of a hot stretch for an East team to win a championship. Nah, I said that the championship's coming to the West this year. Lou Will has shown up. Paul George has not. Well, actually, you're close. It was 43, Chulo. You were just a point off. No, both of them dudes got to go. Elton Brand has become Billy King for this Sixer team. No, he's George Paul. He's not playoff P. He's George Paul. He is George Paul, not Paul George. George Paul. I think originally Kawhi had wanted Kyrie. I think what Paul George was not a choice that he originally wanted. Oh my man, he said put an APA out on. Oh, we need the APA, Acolytes Protection Agency, to come out and see if they can help us find Paul George. By the way, y'all need to make sure that you got him for protection as well. The thing is, G Money, this was not their best team for 2020. So, all right, take care, Anonymous. I'm actually going to close the stream right now, by the way, but salute to everybody that came through in the chat. This is something that I have not done in a long time, but I appreciate everybody coming through on this upload, on this live. You guys have been awesome. Again, salute to everybody that's been here. You guys have been great. I just went on my, Clippers way to make sure that these guys. But anyway, this is the ending right here. Right there. If you look at Luka Doncic right there, he shows you the man came through. That's what it's about, man. Hey, shout out to Terrence Ball with the 199 super chat. Appreciate that, Terrence. I appreciate it. That's right. That's a nice way to put it, G Money. Luka clipped the Clippers. He clipped the Clips. That's what happened. That's what happened. Again, salute to Terrence, man, for that donation. I appreciate that. That's right, man. Like my man Jermaine just said, man, another one in the books. That's right. Tomorrow we're coming back with some basketball content. So I'll be talking to D on this one. But anyway, guys, hope you guys have a wonderful night. Take care. You guys have been awesome as always. Salute to you guys again. G Money says if it would be epic if Luka hit a series winner like Dame and send PG home. It was actually 43, Papi Chulo. All right, much love to Anonymous, man. They should hang that on the wall. That's true. Yeah, it was 43. All right, guys, but y'all already know the deal, man. We chat together, we stream together, family for life as always. Lewis Sports Network saying deuces, bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank you guys for being a part of the stream. Thank you guys for watching, and you already know how I always do. Michael Jordan is already looking really pissed off right now. Shout out to Joel Hayward, appreciate you. And again, guys, it's been lit. You guys kept it lit, man. Keep it up. Again, guys, continue to share on social media. This is Lewis Sports Network telling you peace. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful night. We'll be back on tomorrow. And like I always say, Lewis Sports Network, and I'm gone.
In the lead. That's skied out to center field. Towering shot. A.J. Pollock going back. That is gone. Big fly for Mike Trout. 2-0 Angels here in the first. Going back to getting a mistake. Breaking ball. Got it. Trout. Dead center field.
Manning's going to run. He cuts back at the one time for the goal line. Touchdown, Eli Manning.
On second and 4. Manning takes off. He's inside the 5 to the end zone. He dives. Touchdown. Away 1-on-2 behind the back. Splits throw. Oh, what a pass to Anderson.
Hardaway, oh, beautiful dish. Grant with the jam.
The elevation now. Michael's had 2 shots blocked tonight. Penny Hardaway goes up, makes the move. He sees Horace coming. Here it is.